All right, we got both feasts filled. I got the first one laid out. I hope these lists are updated. They're updated. Beautiful. Last stream we ended with a Leafeon alt, which was very nice. The alts are all well and good in my eyes. I'm very happy when we pull them, but that's not what I'm after. I'm after the full-on God Pack. I think we've finally given enough for sacrifice for this to show up. What's up, Tetsnick? Make sure YouTube is good. Very good. Feel like crap? That's not good. That's not good at all. I've been watching just randomly. All of a sudden, all these war movies popped up on platforms. Hopefully not subconsciously just getting us ready, but regardless, Saving Private Ryan, Black Hawk Down, watched them all within like 12 hours while doing other things, like getting stuff ready for tonight. Well, every time I watch a World War II movie, and it's like Normandy, I am now just like realizing like how bad of an idea it was. Why did they go into machine gun fire with no support? That was like the dumbest thing that they could have did. Favorite one? I don't know. Fury's probably up there. I'd have to rewatch all of them. It's not really like my genre to like my top genre, I would say. But I do enjoy them if they're good. I think I have enough water. Cheers. Let's get some heat. But like for real, the play of landing just troops out in the open on the beaches of Normandy into machine gun fire and bunkers. I don't understand the tacticality of that. Mind you, not in the military, but I feel like common sense. Let's not land them in front of the machine guns. Oh, I watched that before. I forgot what it was called. With Benedict Cumberbatch. Making codes as intricate as that is pretty interesting in itself, which is nuts. I have to rewatch that one because I didn't fully understand how they were able to confirm that they broke the code. Like they would have needed a decoded message and the encoded message. Also, something blew my mind yesterday. I had a realization that I didn't know needed to happen. Like, I sat there for a good 30 seconds probably, just like, what? You want to hear what that was, Tetsnick? Professor Snape is the bad guy in Die Hard. Let that one simmer. Maybe I'm just an idiot, but I feel like I never really thought about that connection. Yeah, but I don't think of them as the same actor, really, dude. They kind of don't look alike at all, even though they're the same person. You think they verified when they let one attack happen that they decoded? Oh, maybe. I gotta rewatch that one. Honestly, dude, with those movies, they always have to add in, there was a romance, there was this, there was that. Just tell me how they did it. Just do that movie. I don't need all the fluff. Inter, thank you for the follow. I was going to try to fully pronounce your name, but I don't know, dude. It's Friday. I'm not trying to give that much effort. It's not even that hard either, but I was just like, nah, I'm just going to say Inter. But thank you for the follow regardless. Just letting you know where my head's at. I have to look up why they landed, or why they decided to land in Normandy, in the worst possible situation for the soldiers. There must have been a better way. That's what recently irked me today. Or yesterday. No, it was today. I watched Saving Private Ryan while I was making breaks for today. As I was watching, I'm surprised I never had the thought before. I was just like, yeah, that's just what happened. But like this time, I was like, why? This is dumb. Yeah, that's the answer that everyone who, was on the right side of giving that order, i.e., not on the front lines. That's what they're gonna say. There's probably an answer somewhere. There's a lot of history podcasts. I can't be the only one who's had that thought. Like, we had planes and battleships. We could have definitely, like, took out a couple bunkers before just landing thousands upon thousands of people to just get gunned down. The teal mask. No. What happened with that one? Unless that's the ship that almost sunk in Pearl Harbor and then they rebuilt it and then that's the ship they surrendered on. I don't think that was the Wisconsin, was it? What's up, Brado? We were just talking World War II movies, and then I was making the point of how sending all of those people to their deaths when they landed in Normandy was a dumb idea. And I'm going to do some digging to understand why they made that decision. Is that the story test, Nick? The one I just said? Is that? I think Korean War is completely different. Or I know it's completely different, but. I could have sworn I thought I saw a hyper out of that pack, and it's kind of weirding me out just now. Maybe it was a premonition. Okay. It's in this pack. Could have been a premonition. That's really weird. Some sort of textured card. We have one break left on the website if it hasn't already been filled. We'll end it short and sweet. Nice little one boxer. Since we're doing 2 feasts. That's pretty funny. I honestly, if I was in the position to be making those decisions, I would have did the same thing. Speaking of the, well, I guess that was it Korean War? MacArthur? That wasn't World War II. I think it was Korean War, actually, yeah. How we were all taught, like, how much, and he was a hero, but his ego got the best of him when he went beyond the DMZ, or what was now the DMZ. His ego got so big that he like used to talk in third person. And then he made a bad decision. He lost. Now it's going to bug me. I think MacArthur was... It feels like he should be World War II, but it isn't. It's like around Nam. Gold trainer. I don't know how my stream deck just shifted like full foot away from me. How are you all fine people doing this evening? Just quiet, observing. It still messes me up that Professor Snape is the bad guy in Die Hard. They could launch the shells about 26 miles. Well, I mean, that was the point where we were not messing around, so to speak. Just deleting stuff off the map is crazy. By the way, Gold Zard, let's go. Tasnik, that is yours. Oh, you know what movie I watched for the first time today that I've skipped until like literally now in my life? Just because I thought it was just a jump scare like nonsense movie. Shutter Island. Like thoroughly impressed first off, and I'm surprised I skipped it. Never seen it? It's on good old Paramount. I thought it was just like a jump scare like horror movie. No, dude. Really good. I got jump scared once, and it wasn't even meant to be a jump scare. It was so subtle how it happened in the movie. Where I was like, oh. Like an idiot. I was like, that wasn't even scary. Highly recommend it, Tetsnick. Now I understand why people have theories that it's a prequel to Inception. I'm just surprised that like it's been out for this long and I never saw it. Just because I had the idea in my head that it was just like cheap jump scares. And it's just not even that scary to me. It's more so I just don't really care for them. I don't enjoy them. I feel like it's a cheap way of making a movie. And it's not even like there's like a science behind it too. It's like with sudden sounds is what makes like the sound makes it more scary than like the actual like visual jump scare. If that makes sense. I didn't even know the Hulk was in it either. The newer Hulk from Marvel. Mark Ruffalo, there you go. That's his name. Okay, I've severely underestimated how much water I have. Let me grab it real quick because I'm very thirsty. What are you doing? You better not be being bad in there. Luna found a plastic egg because Haley put Easter decorations out. Gone. It was like the only one we had to like left that wasn't destroyed. She's just doing her part. She must destroy all the Easter eggs. And then when I picked it up and showed it to her, after she ripped it up, she knows how to tug on my heartstrings because I love that dog and it's adorable. But she just like looks at me and wags her tail like really sad. She's like, "I'm sorry." Of course, then I can't really get mad. Not that I would get mad to begin with. It's just a little mess. But I don't want her to get sick from eating plastic. I mean, comparing those two, Gorilla, it's an interesting comparison, though they're both Pokemon sets. One's a holiday set, and one has booster boxes. So it's always going to be more because of that. But it's still, compared to, like, previous sets, it's going to be probably downward still because of past projections. So, if that makes sense. But you can't compare those two numbers, Gorilla, because one's a holiday set and one's a regular set. But comparing it to other previous, like, regular releases, like, what was the last one? Surging? Surging, there was, like, nothing. Well, we'll have it for release, Gorilla. I'd be surprised if people can even find Surging, like, out in the wild right now. It's probably gone already. I still don't have, like, 1,000% numbers. It's still a little early for that. I'm hoping at least the same. Downward even more could potentially. And if it's upward, it's not going to be significant enough to notice. They take a long time to adjust upwards, I would say. The most conservative answer I could probably give you, Gorilla, is around the same of Surging. Finally, dude. Gorgeous gold bird. Who's got Psychic? Victor. That's out of Brilliant. I've had this conversation before. It's hard to compare because you're also combining COVID during that and lockdowns. This is still hype without COVID and lockdowns. So you could maybe say that it's worse because the hype is there despite no other things really going on. You could probably argue it both ways, but I feel like without COVID, something being hype is pretty crazy. It probably feels a lot worse if you're just getting into it. Especially not knowing, like, all the contributing factors of why. It's even worse, yeah. what needs to happen and won't is they need, as a company, they actually like need to like be doing some research, looking at feedback, not just asking a YouTuber to put out a video for a couple free packs who's given them no feedback. No feedback that's valuable, probably, because they're going to say anything to get the free stuff for the videos. Too logical? Stop? I will. But think about it, Gorilla. I've seen so many streamers play certain games, right? Video games. Where the devs of those games are watching the streams. They're in chat. And some of these games aren't necessarily huge, so to speak. So with less resources, people doing that versus infinite resources and not doing that, it kind of blows the mind a little bit. Because if they did proper research, they're not structured to just flip a switch and print more, even though people like to just live in imaginary fairy tale land. But they could at least project more accurately. It's getting to the point with me where I'm just not going to correct people anymore when they say reprint, quote unquote, because whenever I explain why, it's not only like illogical, but also just delusional. Whenever I do that, it's like one ear in, one ear out the other. Yeah, but that's not how that works. They make sets based on past performance once. Literally, the situation that Pokemon is in right now, where there's nothing anywhere, is aligning perfectly with my explanation, but even then, people ignore it. So it's just like, why bother? If they continuously print at every set, why is there nothing anywhere? Where is this explanation? If that was the case, I should be opening base set right now. No issues. But hey, what do I know, you know? Ooh, alt psychic. They reprint base set every few years? Where, dude? I never seen it. Unless you're talking about Evo. Like, memeing. No, but like, for real. Like, I don't know how people haven't figured it out the way I have. I mean, I get it. I have more insight. But it's not hard to figure out. And I'm not hiding that info either. I explain it. Shouldn't be J-Rocks. Although I will say to you, anytime that I actually need something from Amazon, it shows up a day later than I need it to. So that could be the case, but not on our end. And it happens to me every time. I bought those really nice like set of like bags or cornhole, whatever you call it where you're from. I call it bags. Ordered it month in advance. Tag? The body spray? Is this what you're talking about with me? What is that? Is that another 3-letter company that popped up when grading companies were backed up? Oh, right. Okay, so yes. Anything that hasn't been around for like 20 plus years and has recently just popped up, I'm kind of, no. Some of their... I'll double check for you, J-Rox. Is it giving you any info on the tracking? Like, as far as updates? Some of their 10s are selling for more than PSA right now. I feel like whenever this happens... I feel like whenever this happens, this is a reoccurring nightmare. Not a nightmare, because I don't really associate with newer companies that are just going to be here today, gone tomorrow. Whenever there's a new company, all of a sudden, their sales are through the roof. Could you imagine why that could maybe be the case? Because, Gorilla, you're a man of knowledge, okay? Your eyes are open. If you could say, or maybe come up with a reason to why recent sales of a recent company are higher than PSA's, what could be the reason for that? Okay, you're on the right track. Here's what I'm going to tell you what happened, okay? An employee from the company listed that card and then bought it on another account. Okay. Because let me tell you, that has happened hundreds of times over. They are not the first. But everyone still posts about it. Gorilla, what I'll say, and to anybody, don't invest money in grading your cards with any company that has just been out for the past 5 years. Don't do it to yourself. If I'm going to recommend you a car to drive with a 50-50, 90% chance, 100% chance that it's going to blow up on you and you're going to hate me afterwards, I'm not going to recommend it. I'm sure the bigger companies that have been around are going to start incorporating it with their grading. There needs to be a human element, though. But I definitely think they should incorporate... They don't even need AI, though, dude. Think about it. You essentially just need a finely tuned computer that measures the card. That's all you need. AI grading cards sounds like the biggest gimmick I've ever heard in my life. You literally just need a digital ruler. Which, for all we know, they probably already have. What aspect of AI do we need to grade the card? They use some light stuff that highlights any minor defect. Okay, but again, that's another form of measurement in reality. J-Rox, this is no different than any of these recent companies that have just popped up for grading. Now, I don't disagree with you, Gorilla. The concept of using technology to make the grading more accurate, better, I'm all for it. This company ain't it. I'll put money on it. I don't think AI is the right tool, though, J-Rox. Because you don't need AI. It's much more simple. You just need a very good digital ruler, so to speak. In the same breath, though, Gorilla, asking for consistency in what can be a turbulent and inconsistent thing feels like it's asking a lot. But I get what you mean. Every card is unique. But I hear you. That I agree with you. BGS at least does that in a way. But online, they should like have notes of the grader. But that would definitely probably add time. Humans are not consistent, that's correct. But what happens when there's a somewhat of a grading curve? Because there needs to be. Because the standard of what a 10 is for a certain card, because they're all horribly centered, is that going to be deduced by an AI? Probably not this form. Maybe a later form. Okay, then they probably shouldn't be marketing themselves as AI graded, because it's not. It's still human. Should like a Mercedes, should be like a Mercedes and have grader signature stamped. I think there should be a point of origin on the card too. And I said that too. Where like if I pulled it for somebody, have that be listed. Or anybody else. Because then you have a regional database. You could have a map of where hypers are. Or golds. PSA would have to fire. Because of why? Sorry, I missed that point. A lot of different points were getting thrown around at once. Bro, it's so blatant too because all these new companies are so ununique that they're trying to fool you by like making it 3 letters. And it's just like, no, dude. You just showed up We've already had 20 more like you. And the fact that their 10s have sold higher than PSA discredits them more than anything. Oh, J-Rox, you want to know why? Because the owner of said company that was giving himself 10s already made his money. It's going to be the biggest rug pull. Worse than the Haktua girl and her crypto. Just spit on the slab, dude. Throw it in the garbage. Oh man, you know what, Gorilla? Now that you mention it, I saw someone say the exact same comment just glancing over Facebook posts as I was making a post for here. I remember reading it and I was like, "Oh, I've seen this before." I feel like I've read this comment multiple other times with all the other new companies that popped up. Did you see that PSA 10s are less than this new company's? Really? What are you trying to sell me, sir? Are you trying to convince me of something? Because I'm not convinced. Who bought it? Who sold it? Was this first historical transaction? Was it, you know, did they videotape it? Were there cameras on the scene? J-Rox, if we're going to go off of looks, and I've seen people make this argument in the past, if you're going to go off of looks, get yourself like a nice plastic bag, like a Ziploc, a nice one, and just decorate it. But that's not what we're talking about as a whole. I know that's not what you're saying, but like that's where that argument leads. There you go. Even better. Cheaper. How do we know they're not already... Right, but okay. You are now talking not about authenticating and protecting your card. You're just talking about visuals. That's not important. I'm sorry. It's... Do I wish that, like, the slabs, you know, looked cooler? Yeah, but in the same breath, it's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it so it's authenticated, and that when and if I do ever decide to sell it, which I won't, other people are going to look at it and say, oh, this isn't a fake. This company that has been grading cards for like 20 plus years put their stamp of approval on it, so that means something. So I feel safe spending a large sum of money on a card. Gorilla. Okay. first off, 25 years of grading cards, been pretty consistent. Company that just popped up and all of a sudden their cards are selling more. They're selling like hotcakes. Give me 20, please. They're not going to be here next year. I promise you. I would put like a more than like, I put like an uncomfortable amount of money that they're not going to be around. Can they improve? Absolutely. The answer isn't a company, another three-letter company that just popped up, and their cards are selling like hotcakes. That's not the way to do it, dude. When am I going to see one of these newer companies take the route of, hey, we just started, we're trying to make a name for ourselves, we're going to be as honest as possible? Doesn't happen. Because it's a cash grab every time. You're going to buy me a booster box? You really want to take that bet? Now define here. The company still has the lights on, but they aren't really doing much inside. Is that considered here? I feel like you answered your own question there. Here's the problem, though, Gorilla. This recent transaction where the card sold for more than a PSA 10. What happens if that's not legit? Which probably isn't. And the Umbreon? Yes. They aren't, though. Because they're using a gimmick AI, even though that's not fully AI. Low quality in their slabs, which the primary thing is to protect your card, on top of authenticating it. And already, I'm seeing fake transactions. And you could say maybe it's not. I feel like these big transactions always happen, though, when these new companies come out, and it's very interesting. They say it's a design feature. What design, dude? They just started. What design? They act like they designed it. They just took the cheapest material that they could get their hands on. They're a new company. They're not, like, innovating, dude. Yeah, it's good to get the card out easier. That's for sure. Eevee. It's just, bro, it hurts to have this discussion because I had this discussion already 10 times over with all the other companies. And they always turn out the same. I've yet to be proven wrong. And that's not like even an ego thing or anything. It's just going off of the info that's there. It feels like the latest rug pull. That is a Master Ball Lit Leo and a Pokeball Lacy. You know what I think is happening with these companies? I think they try to posture to be bought out by BGS or PSA. I think, God honest truth, I think that's what they try to do. They're not trying to, like, you know, just break into the industry. They're trying to just cash in and cash out. Oh, you would be kind of stupid to grade cards through a company that just came out. If your goal is to, like, do the best thing that you could do for your collection, if you send your cards through one of these companies that just popped up in the past 5 years, you're dumb. I'm sorry. It's just a bad decision. I don't recommend anything that's PSA or BGS, or anything that's not PSA or BGS, because I value people's outlook on my opinions. I don't want to give them bad advice. Here's the problem, Gorilla. I feel like you're holding one company in this discussion in way higher scrutiny and not equal to the other company you brought up, which is not a practical approach. And I feel like until the new company becomes established through time and just sheer amount of volume, it's kind of hard for me to acknowledge them, to be honest. Okay. So let's get down to the nitty gritty here. At this point in time, is it smart to not grade PSA or BGS at this point in time? And I'm not trying to, like, gotcha on this. I'm just trying to, like, put a bow on this, because that's the ultimate question. Currently, of course not. And that's where we're at. These new companies are interesting and, you know, fun, innovative, new colors. But until the other parts of it happen, it's not worth my, at least in my eyes, my time. It's not, or anyone's. Save price. If your cards are ultimately worth nothing because they're graded by a company that nobody knows or cares about, you overpaid for a top loader. Like, what would you achieve by grading cards and saving money but losing a lot more in the long run, putting you at, like, a negative? It's like paying, like, a contractor who doesn't know how to, like, build things, so then you have to pay a second contractor to come in and fix everything. It's just not a smart move. If you want to protect your cards and not pay for grade, just put them in a top loader. Have I pulled Father Brian yet? Not yet. Brado, thank you for that sub. If you have faith, okay, but faith is not good enough for me in terms of giving people advice on what to do with their collection or making smart decisions with my own collection. Just because a company means well isn't enough for me to get them graded by a company that nobody knows. If you're a gambling man, if I want to go gamble, there's better odds. What am I going to get? My best case scenario is the company becomes respected in the next 20 years, the long shot, so to speak, and the cards are worth just as much as PSA. What am I'm gambling to lose then. Like it's risking with a reward that's equal to not risking anything. That's not gambling, that's just sinking money in. You have a question? I maybe have an answer. I don't know the question yet. And I like these discussions, so to speak. I hope I'm not like coming off angry or anything. I'm just passionate about it. And I hate these rug pulling scammers that make these fake grading companies and then buy their own cards on eBay and then post it on Facebook. First Feast, very good. Is that what it is? Hold on. Sorry, the dogs are very excited that Haley's home. Please! Oh, that's not a family-friendly song. I'm about to go over these hits. Gorilla, your statement of consistency, I feel like, is not an accurate number. Is there errors? Sure, but 70%, 60%? And if we're going to even bring that discussion to the table, both sides have to have a pretty substantial sample size. So one has probably billions of cards. I don't even know the actual number. And one just started. We can't have that discussion. Hasn't been long enough. I know you're saying hypothetically, right? But in this specific hypothetical, we're really stretching. If one company is more consistent, obviously I'm going to choose it. What's consistency, though? Getting the same thing correct over large amounts of time and numbers. If we're just going to use time and numbers, it's not even a discussion. If you could consistently crack 1,000 slabs out without damaging the card whatsoever, that would be a feat in itself, I would say. I get where you're coming from, Gorilla. I really do. But until another company has been around for 20 years and is not just actively trying to scam people by saying, oh, their recent card is selling like hotcakes. Until that happens, the discussion is just a waste of breath. Has anyone done that? I'm sure one of the new companies probably did. That's the problem with these new companies. They're having all these same thoughts that you just had. Or someone who is heavily invested in one of these three-letter companies just sending 5,000 cards, and now they're trying to protect their investment. Until what I just said happens, Gorilla, it's really like there's not a discussion to be had. It's just, and that's not me just trying to win. That's me being constructive, because that kind of is the way it is. You need time. You need reps. We need results to go off of. If one company graded over 1 billion cards and the other company is like not even touching 6 figures yet, bro, it's not the same planet. Because we're just talking about Pokemon right now, dude. Sports? It dwarfs how many Pokemon cards are graded. It's like, if you put that on a pie chart, it's like little sliver. But here's the thing, Gorilla. It's not about being wrong or right. If the information changes, then I have to change. That's like, I'm not like trying to like shill or rug pull or anything. I'm going off of the information that we have. There's posts going around? Yeah. Unless PSA actually, which I'm sure they release those numbers. Unless they actually release those numbers. I can make a post right now. They could be as inaccurate as you want. But like for you to say, Gorilla, I can't wait for you to admit that you're wrong. It's not about waiting. It's just we have to go off of what we got, dude. If I'm wrong in the future, then my advice would change. I'm not like trying to be right. It's just that's reading the environment. You're coming at it passionately with a little bit of emotion, so I get that. I'm not coming from that place at all. The only time I would actually have emotion, I get mad when these companies do fake listings and they buy their own listings to like make their company look better, because that happens all the time. It's honestly like people should see that from a mile away at this point. Ew. Oh, so a large number. Probably significantly more than any of these three-letter companies that started grading this year or recently. I wonder, I know this isn't you, Gorilla, because you seem like a, an intelligent person. You're at least going to, acknowledge things, right? I wonder how many idiots have cracked, damaged their card, resubmitted, and said, oh, it's not the same grade, but like they dented their card. Because it's probably a bigger number than people realize. And that's not me making an argument. It's just an interesting thought. Because it's probably happened. They crack, regrade it, scratch the hell out of their card. What the hell, dude? This is a different grade. Yeah, you scratched your card, you idiot. That's why I don't do it, dude. Especially if it's if you have a 9 or a 9.5. That's when I'm most against it. Because it's that's a good grade. Why would you roll the dice again? Rolling the dice in terms of cracking it and probably damaging your card. I actually love you again? What did I do this time? Listen, dude, I tried playing Battlegrounds with you, but you left, so I was like, alright. Literally last stream. Tuesday. What's up, Fluffle? How you doing? Or maybe it was Thursday. I don't know. You asked, or you popped up on stream, and then it was a couple seconds and you probably left and did whatever you were doing. And I said, Bullard, do you want to play? And I said, right when I get into a game is when he's going to say, but you never came back, so it broke my heart. Oh, that's why then. Okay. I changed the lists. Right? Yes. Chicken pot pie. No, I think it's good to have that discussion though, because it is a relevant thing to talk about, I think it's important that people don't fall for rug pulls. I remember, dude, someone was like, I bought a bunch of loose jungle packs. I spent this amount of money. I got no hits. And I was like, they were loose? Yeah, not in a sealed box. Yeah. I wish you would have told me before you did that, because I probably could have avoided getting scammed. That's why I like to talk about it, because that dude was not knowledgeable that you could weigh cards and take out all the hits. He opened every single pack and didn't get a single hollow. In his head, he was like, I'm just unlucky. I'm like, no. You should definitely be seeing a lot of hollows from that amount of packs. But that's why I like to talk about this stuff. If I can make scammers lose, that makes me happy. You pull my rug? Which one, dude? I have a couple in this house. And Fluffle, it's been a very long time, dude. I hope you're doing great. Love you. All right, good luck, everybody. Break 2. I feel like everyone who's here now missed out on our initial discussion, which I thought was very interesting, before the PSA discussion. Oh, hello. Oh, Luna just comes right in. She's like, all right, it's time for me to go to work.
Say hi. Say, I just had ice cream, and my name is Luna, and that is all I know.
She found the one plastic Easter egg that you had in one of those baskets.
You find it? Is that why there's purple plastic on my white rug? Are you so proud of yourself?
You had like one egg in there, and she found it.
I'm sure she was very proud of herself for that.
Bowler says hi.
What's up?
Her mission to destroy all the Easter eggs is complete.
Yeah, Luna does not like Easter. Not her favorite holiday.
Right off the start? Hell yeah. Oh, now G's coming in here. We're having a team meeting in here. It's like whenever I open the fridge with these two doggies. We have a team meeting in the kitchen.
He said, my name is G. I'm a good boy.
Okay. You guys are going to start yanking cords. I love you
He
both.
just wants to say hello. Look at him. He put his ears out for you. He looks like Dumbo.
Get.
Alright, I'm gonna go upstairs and do some homework and go to bed.
Okay.
Good night.
Hold on one second, guys. All right, sorry. Where were we? I got my fast mount in WoW Bowler. Not that anyone cares. I'm perfectly okay with no one caring. But people who've played WoW Classic, they understand how expensive that is. I also, out of nowhere, walking up to Felwood. I wasn't in Felwood yet. I was in Ashenvale. I killed one low-level horde, and then about 30 other low-level horde all showed up, and I literally slaughtered all of them. I don't know why they were all there, but they were there. No, I don't play hardcore because I don't hate myself. It takes a lot of time and effort to get to max level, and it's very easy to die, and it's not enjoyable to play the game that way. Because you know what would happen if I got to like, not even max level, if I got to like level 40 and died, I just wouldn't play again. I'd just be like, all right, that's it. I'm done. That would be a good way to like have me never play the game again. Bowler, how long does it take to get to level 40 in Classic? And then if you're playing on Hardcore, you can't use the fast leveling methods because they're risky. On Hardcore, it's probably marginally more time. 3 to 4 days of playing time. So translate that to hours. We're looking at never have to multiply up that high for 24. My times tables for number 24 is not great. And just stop playing? Yeah. I was casually leveling, and it was still fast because I was playing mage, but I was using methods that are risky, and I could have easily died, and I would have just stopped playing. If you got to max levels and you played a character for 8 days worth of like time and lost it, it's probably like the most unenjoyable way to experience the game. And on top of that, to get like your gear, you have to be in groups with randos if you're not playing with friends. And even if you are playing with a couple, they're not always going to be on. Randos are very dumb. They're going to end up getting you killed. It's an interesting choice to like even have hardcore servers. Like it was semi-funny content that I watched like streamers play. And then but like if you think about it, it's not a good thing for the game. The reason I don't play WoW is because pugs are so bad. That can be solved with joining like an actual full guild, but then it becomes a job. And during COVID, it was perfect, but not during COVID is not ideal. My recent gripe I have is that every group that forms for a dungeon has like ridiculous stipulations, like they reserve everything. And then those groups just never fill. I'll occasionally make my own if I have time and I just want to run a dungeon. You know how you get in there? And it's the same thing I did, but I got to know everyone and they were really cool. Their turnover rate on tanks was horrible, and I said, I will show up for every raid, fully raid buffed, but I'm getting Thunderfury. And then that's how I got in, because that's the only way I would commit it. But getting to know them then, I met a lot of really cool people in my first experience with that. But I hear you. It's a big time commitment if you want to like really go far in that game. But also one of the most rewarding experiences when you get a big piece of loot. Yeah, I mean, people are always going to give prio to everyone they know. That's the way we did it. When me and Kyle had our guild, we got all the loot first. That's how it goes. If we're going through the effort of carrying everybody and leading it, we're not going to do that empty-handed. I haven't even played retail since Battle for Azeroth? I think. May have been another expansion. Yeah, but isn't all the loot individual now? Where everyone has their own chance of loot dropping for themselves? Because in Classic, it's one piece drops off of the boss, and one person is going to get it. Individual, I wouldn't be against, to be honest. Because to get, like, as geared as I was, I had to play politics, straight up. They had a loot council, so, like, 5 or 6 people would vote for certain people to get pieces, and then the majority vote gets it. So if one of those 6 people needed help doing something, you better have been there. Because when your name pops up, they better be like, oh man, he's awesome. Because if they don't like you, you ain't getting them nothing. Like, literally. I remember doing Mythic Plus when it first came out. It was, I think, the quickest that my group of friends quit a WoW expansion. It was like within a month everyone was done. They were just like, yeah, this sucks. Yeah, but then now everyone uses like the Raider IO or Mythic IO, where it like grades you, or it shows your grade based on what you've completed. What if you never like got into a group that was actually good? You're just screwed. It is, but at the same time, like, if you weren't already playing, no new players can really get in on it. I play Classic again because I love playing Mage and then solo gold farming. And I find it enjoyable. I like it. %. Because randos are not going to care. In this go in Classic, if you wipe once in a dungeon, the group disbands, like, immediately. Which is kind of nuts. I like it because then nobody messes up, but at the same time, if someone makes a mistake, it just wasted everyone's time. Oh, 100%. And people probably make money off of that. Who had grass, by the way? Real man. When first WoW Classic came out, dude, people were paying mortgages with selling gold. There's always money to be made in these games. I'm happy that, like, cheats aren't as, like, common, because cheating wouldn't really do much, except, like, in Arena, but Arena's not even in the game yet. $3 million a month? Yeah. I think I did see that, yeah. My recent gripe with bots is for tailoring in that game, in order to progress easier, you have to buy a recipe that's only sold by an NPC, and it's limited quantities. She has a different shop every so often. And there's bots just parked there, just auto buying it. So the only way to get it is you have to buy it ridiculously higher priced from the auction house, and I just refuse to. I'm just doing it I'm leveling it the hard way. I'm not letting him win. Probably like one of the dumbest things, though. You need a recipe to level efficiently, and then bots just corner it. Also, Bowler, I just saw recently that you gave me 51 bits. I appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah, one of the reasons why I'm enjoying it too is because I don't have to worry about cheaters. Counter-Strike is just full of cheaters. Every other game that I play, just full of aimware. I'm just tired of it. I don't want to deal with it. I mean, it doesn't really affect me because I'm not trying to make a living off of the gold. It does affect the in-game economy, but I don't know. I feel like it doesn't really affect me. I mean, it's still a fun game, Gorilla, but I got up to a certain rank where I would destroy some kid. He would disconnect from the game, reconnect from the game, and then his 0-10 score turns into him hitting 5 headshots every round from unreasonable circumstances. And I'm just, after like 2 or 3 games of that, I was like, all right, I'm done. It's obvious. Well, you need it to buy items, but if I'm selling those items, do I care where the gold came from? You know what I mean? I mean, they, as a company, made the WoW token so you could buy gold legally. But it does negatively affect the economy of the game in the long run. I think this is the fastest I got an epic mount, though. I was really excited about that. Very nice full art for Psychic, Dylan. They don't. A lot of them get in trouble and then they get cease and desist. When they made the WoW token to legally buy gold, that was them just kind of like shutting that market down. Because people would get scammed too. Very easy to like give account info and then you just lose your account. Or they just take your money and then they don't give you the gold. true. That's why for those transactions you use like a Visa gift card. But I enjoy like farming for it. So it doesn't really affect me, yeah. Sorry, just got to get the bulk out of the way. So far, so good on the hits. I'm hoping we see a God Pack, though. And just because me and Gorilla are talking, I enjoy talking to people. So, don't feel like you just have to sit back. You can join in on a conversation whenever you want. I'm just talking to Gorilla because he's actually answering me. Which is becoming rare and more rare. But I get it. People like to just veg out and watch pack open. So we already got a gold Articuno from Brilliant, which I'm very happy about. I want to see a Hyper Zard. Psychic is Dylan. I have a pretty voice, thank you. One of those things that I don't really do anything about. It's just, it is. It's what it is. So I'm happy you enjoy it. Don't make me choose. I like them both. Two different cards. I think comparing two cards from two vastly different sets, even the rarities are different. I think it's stupid. I like them both. Don't make me choose. The art from Burning Shadows matches. Okay, if you're going for like a thematic. Did we fill up the last break yet? Which is break number 3. Your BSR is between... Yeah. I get that. When I get the last of these lights laid out downstairs, which I'm going to need more shelving, honestly, to display more cards. The lights, I could actually have them light up to match whatever type I have in a certain row if I go that route. So like if it's a lot of electric types, or better yet, if it's like a Raichu section, I'll have the Raichu lights thematically matching. Yes. It's not finished yet, but I have like a good amount of it posted. It's the same brand that makes these lights, and they're lines though, instead of triangles. I'll eventually get around to finishing it. I like to do it at my leisure, when I'm in the mood for it. I want red to complete it, and the longer I wait to buy red, the more painful that transaction's going to be. The blue and the yellow were, like, at this point, like, probably like 10 years ago I got those. For significantly less than what they're going for now. Well, it's only going to go upwards. If you're waiting for that price to come down, I feel like you're going to be disappointed. Ooh, that electric energy and Spadoops. Yeah, that's a good reason. Ask for it for a wedding present. Oh man. That's a horrible line of thinking. You don't like the looks of it? I love the looks of it. Neo's art is gorgeous. Gold Trainer. It's not your favorite. Unless you were selling it. Then your opinion changes, I would say. Zamazenta full art. Been a minute since I've seen that. Steel, Otter. All right, one last stack before we get to Prismatic. Let's go. I mean, dude, just, we know what happens over time. Damn, dude, everyone is sleeping. Autopilot. When I pull the God Pack, people are just going to be nodded off. So I'm assuming you saw the collection room on Instagram. You see what I mean about the lights? It's kind of hard to like capture. It's really hard to like videotape lights. I was trying to find the right angle, but it was difficult to do. And then I was messing with like the shutter speed and the different brightness and whatnot. I learned that a lot of issues with videotaping lights comes down to the circulation or current speed. I forgot the frequency maybe. Because when you're looking at a light, it's actually flashing like a couple thousand times when you see it. You don't see the flashing because your eyes are limited to what you can see. The video picks it up because it's slowing it down. So like in order to videotape it properly, you need to get the tempo of the camera with the tempo of the light so you don't see the flickering. The hertz. Okay, yeah. It's been a minute since I watched those videos, but like I had to watch like a whole bunch of videos about it. And that also plays into like, in Europe, they have different currents, right? So the lights are completely different. Therefore, their settings need to be completely different to capture it better. It's pretty interesting. Well, then you can, but then it would just appear off. But if you see flickering when recording something, you have to adjust for it. And it has nothing to do with like the brightness. Because like that's where my head was at. I was like, maybe the brightness is messing with it. But no. It's because the lights are actively flickering every second or millisecond that they're on. Figuring that out took a lot of time. I had to figure it out the first time when I used these lights in the background. If I have certain settings, the lights are just flickering. I was actually heartbroken when I first got these lights and I couldn't figure it out. I was like, damn it, man! Like I really love these, and then just took a lot of watching YouTube videos with not a lot of views explaining how videotaping lights works. I don't think Haley wants to, but I want to put one of these setups kind of like, not behind the TV, but like close to it, because they react to sound, and you could have it be like a sound bar. In that way, it won't project sound, but it'll react to it. And I think that would be pretty cool. No, I don't look at prices because the only time I would look would be is if I'm selling or buying it, and I'm not selling it. Which one, the BGS 10? Doesn't surprise me. Wasn't that easy to pull. It was a holiday set. And on top of it, they weren't always the most perfectly centered. How much is a PSA 10? $3,000 Canadian is how much US? The number's got to be less, I think. So probably like, I mean, that's still a, and like you said, it's a BGS 10, almost black label, 0.5 off, as are all black labels, but there's a lot of cards in that collection that maybe shouldn't be sitting on a shelf, but I refuse not to display them. This feels like there's a lot in this pack. Houndour Master Ball. I got those Mario and Luigi all graded, like both the full arts and the non-full arts. There's an anniversary card that I have that's, last time I looked was like a while ago, but it was up there. Sylveon. All of those ponchos were really sick. The Mario and Luigi one were the ones that I cared about the most. Though I was like, that is a sick card. Bro, people were selling those all over Facebook like 10 years ago. Because that's where I got mine. It was a different place. Suicune Pokeball, very clean. Water. Raiden. Yeah, I wouldn't for it's not safe unless the problem is even if the person you're buying it from is trustable, where did he get it from? And then you have to like retrace. It becomes a circus. All right, come on, gut pack. Let's go. Professor's research. Was that shining? A majority of my collection that you see in on Instagram was from my binder from when I was a kid. Majority of it. Obviously, the most current stuff, no, but like the older stuff, it's a lot from when I was a kid. With not a lot of packs being opened, because I definitely wasn't spoiled in that way. If we went to the store, every once in a while, I was allowed one pack. But kept everything in a binder. I wish I didn't. I wish I would have top loaded and penny sleeved it, because that was a prime example of, like, it wasn't like absolute destruction, but a lot of cards would have been better if they weren't in the binder. In a booster box of older stuff, I feel like 12 was like a conservative number. You could have more, you could have less, but I think it was always around 12 from when I remember opening them more recently. Don't get me wrong, I had a lot of 10s, but there would be a lot more 9s and 10s if they weren't in binders. That's why I always recommend against binders, because I know what happens over time. It's just over time, dude. Over time in a binder is not good for the cards, regardless of whatever BS claim the company is making. That their binders are perfect for collect. Like, it's like, yeah, but realistically, if you kept it in there for 5 years, I think every story ends up being the same. Top loader binder also sounds like a mistake, but you know, to each their own. It just when it eventually gets filled, and it will, that's the idea, there's going to be a lot more weight and stress on certain points of the binder, especially over time. I've seen it, and I had a nice binder from when I was a kid. I had like that sick Pokemon one, and I still have it. With the Snorlax on the front and Sandslash. My entire collection from when I was a kid, Haley and her mom helped me on their free time. They took out of the binders and put it in penny sleeve and top loaders. Binders in general, Afro. If you think about it too, you're like putting a bunch of these cards stacked on top of each other, and it's putting continuous stress on them. Cracks happen, warping happens, anything down the list. If your goal is to keep your cards as safe as possible, the binder is not the play for condition. It's just, I've seen it. I wouldn't recommend it. I had multiple binders from when I was a kid. Penny sleeve top loader in one of those cardboard large containers, or graded, because everything in my collection is either graded or going to be. Penny sleeve top loader is probably the best bet. I know people are like, the dust is going to get in and eat the cards. Not really. It would be pretty minimal. And if you have a cover on the box that they're in, it's going to be fine. Not that you asked me, Gorilla, and you're your own person. If you were to ask me, hey, Beige, is it smart to put my cards in a top loader binder? I'd vote against it. But you didn't ask me, so I'm not going to really make a big deal about it, but just figure I'd throw it out there. Bro, I mean, you can do what I just did just now when I showed off all the hits. You just fan through them. I hear what you're saying, but we're adults now, and we're educated, and we have more information that than when we were kids. To damage your cards again for the sake of nostalgia, not a good reason, but hey, if you're a purist, I respect it. Are we? Yes. No one tells me how many cards I could buy. I can do that. So yes, adult. Okay, I think the last break is full. Let me randomize it. First, I got to update the list. I made pretty damn good time on 2 feasts. If I don't say so myself. Beige, don't pull your shoulder out of its socket, patting yourself on the back so hard. But I'll say it. I think we made pretty good time on 2 feasts. All right, printing the last list. It's going good. You got hollows and all your rares in penny sleeves and ringless binders. I mean, Afro, here, you're your own person. I don't want to tell you how to, conduct yourself. But coming from a person who cares about the condition, tries to go for the highest grade. I've graded thousands of cards. Been doing this for a while. If your goal is to keep your cards in the best condition possible, just the safest decision, binder is not the play. So I would say I don't recommend a binder. If that is your goal. If you don't care, by all means. Would I put cards in a binder if it was in my collection? No, I wouldn't do it. I saw what happens over 20 plus years of being in a binder. It's not pretty. Doesn't matter what brand it is. It's just, I wouldn't roll the dice. I'm just making sure, Afro, because, sometimes people get sensitive about that stuff and elitist. I'm not trying to be elitist by any means. I'm just trying to give info that I have. So you don't make the same mistakes I did as a child. There may be cases where people out there have had their cards in binders and they were perfect. I just wouldn't roll the dice on it. Yeah, no problem. I mean, the reason why we send you cards in a penny sleeve and a top loader, because that's like the standard. I would say that is the bare minimum. Going above and beyond the maximum, grading it. But even at a bare minimum, I would say that's like a very solid place to be. Better than a binder, I would say. I've had it so many times, dude, where, especially when I started, when people in my general, vicinity, friends and friends of friends are like, can you look at this binder for me? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And then I hear binder, and I'm like, oh, no. And I now have to tell this person that because it was in a binder, if they look at the back of their card, there's a big crease in it, because over time, the card was sitting and was under stress. No. I mean, that's not to say that humidity could play a factor, but if you have it sitting in a box in two sleeves and your basement isn't flooded, you should be fine. I've not seen the bottom warp over time. If you're worried about that, have them sit on their back. Still infinitely less. Here's the thing. There's nothing pushing the card down to warp the bottom. When it's in a binder, it's being flexed a little bit, regardless of how flat it is. Yeah, the standing upwards thing is fine, just as long as they're not upside down and the card's going to fall out. That's fine. The reason why binders are bad, in my eyes, is because even if it's a little amount, there is pressure being put on the card that will damage the card over time. It's just what it is. Even as minimal as it is, it has a profound effect over time. And I've had people say, like, I got my cards in binders, B, it's just fine. And I'm like, okay. But, like, if you care about the condition, I'm just, word of advice, that's all. Not trying to, like, challenge you. Just saying, when I was a kid, had a binder, some of the cards got jacked up because they were in a binder. It's just how it works. Sounds good. I enjoy answering these questions. And here's the thing, Afro, I'll tell you if I don't know. If I don't know, I'm not going to lie to you. It sounds good, Bubble Root. Starly. I'm out of Ultra Ball, so I'm not even going to throw a ball. I have a feeling this last break is going to surprise us. If the God Pack wasn't in the 2 feasts and it's in the single break, I'm going to laugh. We're due for this alt, too. If during one of these conversations, Platypus, I prevent a disaster from happening or somebody learns something, that's the goal. I'm not trying to deceive or anything. People get really defensive. Especially like I've had people like get like mad at me. They're like, "What's so bad about binders, dude?" And I'm like, "I just told you, my experience. I'm not trying to hurt you. But if you're upset because your entire collection is in binders, maybe you should move some of the cards out. Maybe not all of them. Maybe the good ones." Just like when we're talking about these newer companies that just started grading. You can do what you want, but I'm not going to recommend them. I value my recommendations. I want people to value my input, not hate me. I don't know how fast the second feast filled because I wasn't paying attention to it, but it might have been potential for 3 feasts today, and I apologize. Next time we go for something like this, next week, I'll be sure to, like, if you see that the feast is full, like, at me on Discord. I'm not ready for it tonight. And I have to meet Nick. Next time I will, though, I promise. How fast did it fill? Were you paying attention, Audrey? I genuinely, like, I could look, but just asking. I feel like I checked it once, like, after I posted it. Pretty fast? Okay. Next time that happens, especially if it's, like, the second feast, if someone notices, anyone, at me on Discord. Be like, Bish, second one filled. We need a third. I posted it pretty early. It was like, I feel like it was like around 10 or 11. Heat shrink. That Gyarados is actually disgusting, by the way. Sorry, I've been like... I like it when people talk. I kind of go on autopilot then. I enjoy talking to you guys. It's a crazy concept. Maggie. Getting all the colorless hits. I'm really happy that we saw gold Articuno out of Brilliant. Those are very elusive. Floatzel. Flowing Executor. Conkeldurr. Radiant Venusaur. Ooh, that's an alt trainer from Prismatic. I don't know if I pulled that yet. Getting ever so closer to that God Pack, baby. I can taste it. We still have a chance tonight. There's still packs on the table. Riolu. Brandon. Very nice. Trainer is Justin. Maximum Belt with a Pikachu. Full Art Umbreon. EX. Very nice. Closer to the alt too. Pokeball Trainer. A lot of hits. And that's all she wrote for this week. Thank you guys for another amazing week. Double feast today. I'm going to be more on top of it because we could have did a triple feast today. But I'm confident we could do it next week too. And I'll be ready for it. Very good. Thank you guys for another amazing week. I'm going to have Monday's breaks posted tonight. And then I'll see you guys Sunday on the gaming channel. Thank you guys again for another amazing week. Love you all. You're all beautiful. Have a good rest of your weekend if I don't see you. And be safe. Love every single one.